Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. And this is our look at World Championship Wrestling from Saturday, May 18th, 1985. And as always, Rodney West with us, and Jack, the Bomber Lord, is with us as well. Guys, World Championship Wrestling Saturday, May 18th, 1985 was a pretty decent show. There's a few things that we're going to talk about, and we may agree or we may not agree with it. But some things that I didn't.
You're saying that you're going to be wrong again tonight.
Maybe it could happen. I've been wrong a lot, so
I'm going to make a note. Just I got my pen
just to write it down here and let it know that the show opens up with Magnum TA talking to the announcers. I don't know that this show had a hot opening or not. Maybe I missed it, or maybe it just wasn't part of the show.
I don't think it was there. Because there wasn't even the opening on this one. On the video I watched, there's no opening on it.
But it did take Magnum TA was out there. Ric Flair comes out and basically takes over the interview during this thing. What did y'all think about Ric Flair coming out there talking to? I mean, they're getting ready for TA and Flair to wrestle each other. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, it's, I hate to use this word because I sound like Michael Cole, but it was vintage Flair. Where he just goes out and tries his best to rub everybody the wrong way and then act offended when you get offended. I mean, he was just a perfect heel. And what made him so good is he felt justified in everything he did. So I'm missing today. Take a note. Somebody borrow my pen.
Rodney, what did you think about him coming out there doing what he did in the beginning of the show?
What you're seeing here is just experience. That's what you see is experience, knowing exactly what his role is, knowing exactly with TA what his position was going to be in this match, and giving the big build up to the match, and that's what he can do. He can do that hard sell. He's not to the point yet, but they're getting there. And everybody's getting ready to see that match with Flair and Magnum TA.
And I'm pretty sure that match has to be fantastic, and it is a great match. Right after that,
I wonder if it lasted 10 seconds like most of TA's.
I don't think so. I don't think that lasted 10 seconds. I'm pretty sure that did not occur. Well, then we got the World Tag Team Champions, the NWA World Tag Team Champions. Ivan and Nikita Koloff go against Philip Strickland and Randy Barber in this match. Again, the fans are just giving the Koloffs a hard time, doing the national anthem. They're all standing up. I mean, it's like the fans are working with everybody on this program.
I love the shot of when the camera got the United States flag while they're doing all this. It was awesome. It really was awesome.
And I don't know, has this ever been done? I don't remember any. The Koloff and Smirnoff was in Atlanta and Georgia Championship Wrestling. I don't remember people doing it then. I remember them waving the flags, but I don't remember people doing the national anthem during it.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. This was new.
It was pretty good. After I'm pretty sure. Randy Barber and Philip Strickland did not like having to go against Nikita Koloff.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent match, and of course Ivan dropped Strickland on the top rope, and then it's Nikita coming in with the Cobra hold. Pretty decent match, no doubt.
Well, the only problem I've seen, something that happened in this match, Jack, did you notice during this whole program that there was a situation going to happen through the whole show where certain people would have their holds on and not let go of them for about a minute or two.
Seemed to be a pattern.
Yes.
There was a pattern happening on this show over and over again. Nikita started it, and I guess everybody was standing back in the back going, "Ooh, that looks like something I should do in my match tonight." I was just thinking somebody should have stood up there and said, "Wait a minute, don't do that again. You've already done it twice. Don't do that again." But then Tony Schiavone comes out J Dillon and Buddy Landau. Jack, what did you think about this?
I mean, I love Buddy. Yeah, how can you not? He knows his character and knows how to get it over. It was good.
I thought it was funny because Dillon said he claimed that the fathers around the country called in to World Championship Wrestling because their young daughters were fainting while watching Buddy Landau's his video last week. And Buddy says that legends like Flair and Rose are great, but it's time for them to move over for the new guy, Buddy Landau. Rodney, what did you think?
Yeah, definitely vintage, if you will, vintage Buddy Landau. Buddy did say something profound. It was something to the degree that he didn't have a clue, and I agree with him.
All right, now let's move on with that one then. And then we got Dick Slater returns to go against the Golden Terror. I love the match. I thought the match was good. How about you, Rodney?
Yeah, definitely. Dick Slater is one of my favorites. No matter which way you got him, Dick Slater's always one of my favorites.
Yep. Great. It was great to see him back in there. I haven't watched any Dick Slater matches in a long time, but man, everyone you see, it's just good. They're just good. Really good.
In this match, he gave the spinning neck breaker to the Golden Terror, elbow to the back of the head, and then he did a double underhook and double underhook suplex, and pinned him 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Just a good wrestling match.
Yeah.
Just solid, good wrestling match, no doubt. All right, then, Jack, World Television Champion Tully Blanchard with a perfect 10 baby doll is out there. Baby doll was looking good as ever. The perfect 10. I think Tully said in his interview, he said, Dusty calls himself the best and baddest. He said, but Tully Blanchard was holding the belt, so he must be the best and baddest in this interview. Did you hear that, Rodney?
Yeah, I heard it. It was absolutely a perfect interview. And I loved, and I think it was this one that he acknowledged the crowd. And then they had the one guy in the crowd that had the Tully Blanchard #1 T-shirt.
Yeah. One smart guy here. One smart guy.
Yeah, one smart guy there. Which I believe a mistake by acknowledging him, because then he begins to have his own fan area there by that acknowledgement.
Well, I think Tully Blanchard was so good at what he did. Every match he had on it, it was different. Every match was a different match. I thought the match. I thought that the one thing I thought he said these fans are low quality fans, and he did say except for that one guy.
Yep.
He's the man. Tully Blanchard, great interview. And then Paul Gardner went against Black Bart. Jack, what did you think about this?
It was a match. Actually, it wasn't a bad match. It would have been a great house show match, I thought. For what it was, but a little too long. That's our problem during this time period for some reason of, those guys. And I love Black Bart, but he's good for short amount of time. When you ask him to go out there and have long matches, it doesn't work on TV.
No, he didn't give Paul anything, and he gave him at least something in the match. He just beat him and beat him and beat him, and it just wasn't good. Even for the time period, it just was not good at all. And he did the leg drop across the chest from the second rope. That should have been done in 4 minutes and not in about 8. That he just beat the guy. What did you think, Rodney?
The slam, Anderson slam on the arm. That would have been enough for me to meet him at the cart. You need to quit trying to get over using other people's stuff. If you're going to do your own thing, don't be trying to copy everybody else. But at least he didn't hold the Texas trash compactor on him until somebody come and pull him off.
This is true. Well, Dick Slater didn't do that either, so that was a good thing. He won a match, got out of the ring, and left. then Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes comes out. Great interview by Dusty Rhodes. What did you think, Jack?
Solid Dusty. There's never a bad Dusty match or interview, I mean.
Now, he was all over the place in this interview, though. He talked about everybody in this interview.
Yeah.
He talked about Flair. He talked about Magnum TA. He talked about Tully Blanchard. He talked about he talked about everybody that was part of the roster on this show. And,
well, he knew all the storylines coming up, so he's trying to jumpstart everything.
Right. He did mention the gorilla, and then he talked about Ric Flair, and he said that Flair was going to wake up one morning and not be the champion no more. He said,
gonna wake up in a sweat. He's not gonna be champion no more. That was good.
He says either Dusty, says either him or Magnum TA is gonna have that championship. And I do believe if Magnum TA would not have got hurt, I believe he would have been the next world heavyweight champion. I just believe that to be true. Then Rocky King went against Ron Bass with James J Dillon. Rodney, what did you think about this match?
Go back to see the remarks of Black Bart. Honestly, there's nothing there that's going to get him over.
No.
It's just not. He really had a difficult time getting over the last time he was in Georgia when he was the national champion working with Tommy Rich. Never did draw a thing there. And this was about as interesting as watching Kevin Sullivan. I mean, seriously. This thing here was awful.
I gotta go.
Oh, I'll tell you, Rocky King was in such great shape. He could do something. It was one of these things that, to me, that Ron Bass, I'm just going to make myself look like I'm a terrorist, but it didn't make him look.
But he didn't accomplish his goal. It just made him look bad.
Yeah,
made him look really bad, and almost the point that I'm trying to make about TA and the winning in the 15 seconds, the 20 seconds, when he was put against decent quality talent, he doesn't do that. He doesn't do it. So that shows that the talent he did that to were not up to par. Yeah, that's all that shows.
What did you think, Jack? Rocky King, he could have gave him something. They could have had a great 8-minute match.
Rocky King could work with anybody. Rocky was really good and never got really what he deserved there. He should have had a back and forth match with him, and I think it would have accomplished two things. It would show how good Rocky was, but it would also give those fans something to bite into. And all you were just serving them was a sandwich with no meat on it, and expecting them to enjoy it, and they weren't.
No, they wasn't. Then he wins the match. J.J. Dillon calls for the claw. He puts it on him and gives him the claw. And as usual, as Nikita started, he did not want to let go of this. And James J. Dillon trying to get him off, but really wasn't trying to get him off, which was a good touch. I like James J. Dillon in this. Again, someone not wanting to let go of the other. All right, then we had Tully Blanchard came back out, had a wrestling match against Mike Nichols. What in the world was going on in this match?
I was thinking the same thing.
That was that's a very good question. He got him with the European forearm, smashed the Dory Funk Jr. type forearm, and then comes with an elbow, and then gets a 3 count, and he's kind of like, okay, I won that. Then he picks him up and does a slingshot suplex anyway. I'm just wondering if the guy got hurt somewhere and through that. I don't know.
I think he was just so lost that Tully was afraid he would screw up the slingshot. So he just beat him and then figured, well, now I can do the slingshot. And if he screws it up, it's not going to hurt nothing.
Yeah, it won't destroy his finish. Sure. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on during this match. It
was awkward. It was awkward.
It was the most awkward match I ever seen. And not nothing Tully Blanchard was doing. This Mike Nichols was like he just didn't want to be there anymore. The bell rung and he said, "Whoa, wait a minute, where am I?"
Yeah, I think I've seen guys get scared, and I think that's probably what happened.
I felt bad for him. All right, then Black Bart comes out and does an interview. Same one he did the week before. It was no different. It was the same exact interview. I'm sorry. I love Rick Harris. I love him to death. And I don't know that
awesome guy.
It's not his fault. They gave him. They said, "Listen, you got 8 minutes in a match, 7 minutes in the match. Go out and do." I mean, he could have given the guy something just to make himself look good in a match. But I don't like his interviews. I don't like him right here. I don't think that he got himself over in this.
Well, the interview I thought was fine. I think that the match soured for the interview. Yeah. So it was the match that caused the problem, because the interview was perfect. Challenging Ronnie Garvin in a very distinct way where Garvin had to either answer. Of course, he wasn't there that day, but he has to answer the challenge. I mean, he's challenged him point blank to the point where he's called him yellow and everything else. So, yeah, I thought the interview was really good. It was the match that sours the interview.
Maybe that was my problem. Maybe I was soured by him by the time he did his interview. I just didn't want to hear it, which I did listen to it, but I didn't. What did you think, Jack?
Yeah, I think it was what are we in, like part 3 of the same interview by now, over 2 weeks. And let's be fair. Interviews was not his strong point. Not to a great length. If they were shortened to the point, he was good. But I don't. Does he not do 2 interviews during this show too?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, and I don't understand that.
Well, we were told. Now, we were told in this match. We were told at the beginning that Buddy Landau would go against Ron Garvin. That match does not happen. Also, Ollie and Arn Anderson was supposed to be there. And they don't show up as well. And we can tell it at the end of this show that they had to ad-lib some stuff and bring Nikita Koloff back out, and Black Bart had to go back out. So something didn't happen that was all good. Well, then here comes the match. And this is the reason when you talk about one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, this is the reason Ric Flair is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, because the match he had with Sam Houston, Jack, tremendous. Don't you believe that was a tremendous match? It
was great. I mean, he made Sam look like a contender, like he deserved to be in there with him, which Sam did. Sam was a heck of a worker, and I only became better as he got older. I saw Sam a few years ago. Still looks great. He can still go. I think they could have done a lot more with him back then. But Flair made him look like $1 million in here.
Rodney?
This was awesome. Black Bart, you should have took some notes on how to do this. Because Flair did not look bad in here, and everybody comes out looking great. Even though Sam Houston loses in the end, people would be ready to see Sam Houston against Ric Flair again. Yep. Right, so it was perfect. And then Magnum T, the touch, we had the figure 4 on, of course, not letting it go again, and then here comes TA, and then they're getting into it. Constantly that building process to Flair and TA is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
We could tell you all about this match. We could tell you all about it. We could tell you move by move exactly what happened in this match, but we would do it no justice. Make sure you go.
And the way that Flair started off, very arrogant, and then all of a sudden Houston gets a few good moves on him, and then the whole facial expression changes. That's experience again. Experience.
Storytelling.
It was great storytelling. So instead of us telling you about the match step by step, go watch it. World Championship Wrestling. All you have to do is put World Championship Wrestling Saturday. This is May 18th, right? Is that the date?
May 18th, 1985.
Put that in there. If you don't watch anything else on that show, forward it up and watch Sam Houston and Ric Flair. And that's the reason Ric Flair is the best wrestler in the world. There's no doubt about it. He shows you, and he showed everybody the way it could be done. Now we go. I guess we talked about Magnum TA being out there and all that happened. While Magnum TA and Flair are kind of face to face, Evidently, Jimmy Valiant didn't want them to do anything because he came out and started doing an interview.
He jumped the gun a little bit.
You know,
He's out there a little early.
I was thinking, wait a minute now, what's he going at? Why is he out there so soon for? Why ain't they letting this finish? But I think he did jump the gun and came out, and he just started. I mean, the moment he came out there, he started talking. Jack, what did you think about Jimmy Valiant?
I thought, he's out there too early, but you know what? I think he made it look good. I mean, he was putting them over. He was getting across the point he needed to make. Jimmy Valiant is just fantastic on interviews to me.
Yeah.
I think he was great in the ring, but I'd rather hear him talk than watch him wrestle. I mean, he's just awesome.
Rodney, what did you think about his interview?
Always great with Jimmy Valiant. Knows exactly what he's out there to talk about. He's out there talking about Paul Jones, and of course, like you said, he talked about TA and Sam Houston, and talked about all the people that can be his partners. And that's why Dusty came out and talked about everything. That way, he can interject himself in all of those issues if necessary. So that way they can change those matches up, those cards up. They're not the same cards every night, and the cards are main events every time, every night, every match.
Smart stuff. Then we got Ron Rossi against Abdullah Butcher with Paul Jones. Jack, what did you think about this match?
I was just glad I wasn't Ron Rossi.
Perfect time in the match. Don't you think so?
Yeah, it was. I thought this was the best Abdullah match we've seen so far, because the guy knew what to do for Abby to put him, to be where he needed to be for him, and Abby was aggressive. He didn't miss any of those thrusts like it's been pointed out before, and the elbow, that elbow. Oh my God, that's a killer elbow. I love it.
It is.
It's stiff, but by golly, it looks good.
It's awesome elbow coming out of that corner, and the thing is that's the key to that is where he goes back into the corner and pauses, and then he takes those 3 steps and does the drop just beautiful. It builds that tension up, especially when he does it in the arenas. It really builds it up.
Great. I love the match. It was just that perfect time. It was about 3 minutes, and it was great. Then Dick Slater and Dusty Rhodes is out doing the interview with each other, and Sullivan. I shouldn't have said Sullivan. I'm sorry. And Dick Slater probably would have Dick Slater said, "Hey, I've been eating a lot of bananas lately." He made sure to let the people know that he was the gorilla, and he told them the Russians are in trouble because he's been eating. And he said that I'm not going to be wearing that suit again. It made me itch all over. Dusty, you're going to wear it next time.
Suit again. Dusty just smiling from ear to ear. That was beautiful.
Dick Slater was so good.
Yeah.
I
think the only thing that would have made that segment better is that if they had actually shown a clip of him coming out at the Omni, because that was the build-up, of course, for that match. But if we'd have seen just that crowd surprise, of when it was revealed to be him, I think that would have been great.
Yeah, that's one thing we did miss. But what an interview with Dick Slater and Dusty Rhodes, two generals of the professional wrestling business out there together.
I loved how Dusty talked a little history on that too, talking about how they were the former World Tag Team Champions. Of course, right there in Atlanta, they beat Ollie and Gene Anderson, and we loved. I remember that just as if it's yesterday with Dusty and Dick Slater winning the World Tag Team titles.
Then we had Ivan and Nikita Koloff doing an interview. Your basic interview, but Ivan Koloff was so good.
He hit all the points yet again. Just like Dusty did. He hit every single point, talked about some other situations. That way, if they need to get involved in that, they can. And then he talks about the gorilla and then all of that. It was as good. And then Nikita really takes it to the next level. He doesn't talk long, as you notice. He only has a few words, but they are profound, if you will, words.
Yep.
All right, then we have Magnum TA go against a good friend of ours here in Pro Wrestling Inside and Out, Carl Styles. And I'm going want to tell you, I did not really think that Magnum TA would be able to give him that belly to belly. But he gave it to him, and it seemed like with ease. Now, that could say Carl was so good at what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a huge thing for a big guy, because you ain't going to sling us around unless we want to be slung around. So, yeah, that was Carl making him, look good, which was what he was supposed to do. And it was done very well.
Oh, it was done great. What it was about, I think, was probably about a minute. One match went about a minute.
Yeah.
It was much longer than what it would normally be.
But you know what? They needed to give the Carl Styles could wrestle. That was another guy that they could put with somebody to have a good competition match, a good 8-minute match. They could have had a great match and not beat them in a minute. But they did it, and Magnum TA once again wins the U.S. Heavyweight Champion, the Silver Dome, I guess would be the belt, Silver Dome belt. All right, then Rodney Ric Flair comes back out, and he was on during this.
Yeah, he is definitely worth every penny, and even more than that, because he talks about Magnum, he talks about Dusty, talking about him going to wake up in a sweat, and Dusty Rhodes going to be world champion. And that's never going to happen. You don't have to worry about that. But yeah, he was definitely on. And that is again, that just shows experience. Exactly what you're going to do. There's people in the business that know exactly what they're going to do when they walk out there. Flair's one, Roddy Piper's another, Larry Zbyszko, and of course there's Ivan Koloff's another. Has no problem. Just goes out and tells the story and does it with such perfection. And that's years and years of experience, like we're seeing on display.
At the end of this interview, he talks about Billy Jack Haynes coming to town. Now, is that because they were working with Don Owens and Portland? Or did Billy Jack Haynes come and wrestle there?
I think Billy Jack was in Florida at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. All right. So he was there working for Graham at the time. All right. That makes more sense.
And Flair had not been pulled yet from the other territories yet. He had not been done. They're still working closely with the Von Erichs and Florida and all the rest. That hasn't happened yet.
All right, the next match, Dale Williams against Buddy Landau with James J Dillon. Jack, Buddy Landau, his old arrogant self.
I thought it was good. I thought it was a great match, and I figured 4 finish. And my favorite part was when he's trying to JJ's trying to pull him off by pulling his arm. I'm trying, referee. I'm trying. Well, it ain't a figure 4 arm lock. It's a figure 5 leg lock. So
that's right.
But it was a great match. It really was. Buddy can work with anybody.
Yeah, he had a pretty good match with the guy. And what did you think, Rodney?
Yeah, typical Buddy Landau. Never a bad match with Buddy. Got him with the spinning elbow and the correct version of the figure.
Then Tony Schiavone interviewed Magnum TA. Magnum TA just talked about that Flair would no longer be able to duck him. There's going to come a time that he's going to wrestle, and he was the #1 contender and got that ready. Schiavone once again brings in Black Bart for his second interview of talking about the same thing he talked about the first interview. I guess he was just trying to get his point over. I guess Ron Garvin and Black Bart was wrestling each other on the.
I assumed that was supposed to be either Ollie and Arn Anderson, or Ronnie Garvin was supposed to be in that position, because that would have been right after the match with Landau and Ronnie Garvin. So.
Yes, I would think that was what happened. But we'll move on with Jimmy Valiant against Jimmy Deal. Rodney?
All right, yeah. Again, just typical. Paul Jones is out there watching Jimmy Valiant. He's out there. Come on out, Paul. Come on in here, Paul. And then the people are yelling in the audience out there. They're yelling Paula at Paul Jones. It's great. The fans knew how to. They want to be a part of this. They wanted to push those buttons again, because Paul Jones, if they did the right thing, he would acknowledge them, and that's their point, is to try to get them. That's the reason they did that to the Russian, and the reason they do it to Paul Jones. Love Paul Jones. He's great.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Once again, He was wanting Paul Jones to come in there, and at one point, I thought that Paul Jones wasn't even a real person when he was standing there. He was just as still as he could be, and I'm thinking, is this the wax figure of Paul Jones? This man ain't even moving while he's watching the match. Right after that, we do an interview. Tully Blanchard has an interview. Oh, is it Tully Blanchard that had an interview, or is it Paul Jones? I think it was Paul Jones, wasn't it?
Right.
Paul Jones does interview.
Number one, Paul Jones. Yes.
And he offers Tully Blanchard offered him a little bit of money for the services of Abdullah the Butcher to take care of Dusty Rhodes. That was what was happening. I enjoyed that. I thought that was a good little touch that he talked about.
Yeah.
So, but I have it wrote down wrong right here. So that's all right. Then I believe Gerald Finley and Mark Cooper was supposed to go against Ollie and Arn, and instead Nikita Koloff comes out, and I thought the finish of this was tremendous. That double clothesline deal was tremendous. You don't see it a lot of times with a heel. You only see it with a baby face. So being it done with Nikita Koloff right here, it surprised me. What about y'all?
Oh, it was great. It was stiffer than a Mike Jackson payoff, but it was
That's
good.
Right. It was right out of the blue. It was awesome. And then of course Nikita uses the Cobra hold again too. So they're getting all the holds over, getting it ready for the arena. So fantastic.
Well, that was World Championship Wrestling on May 18th, 1985, as seen on WTBS, the Superstation. Join us next week because we're going to be talking more about World Championship Wrestling. We'll go to the very next episode. I believe it'll be the 20-something. I forgot to write it down on my list here, but it'll be the 7 days later, folks. Whatever 7 days later,
the 25th,
Saturday, May 25th, as seen on WTBS. If you are watching this, give us the big ho thumbs up.
Oh, did you catch one of the commercials in this? The Absorbing Junior with Paul Orndorff. Did you check that out? Did you get that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did. I meant to write that down. That was another thing I didn't write down. All right, if you're watching this on YouTube, give us the big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and go one step further and hit the notification bell. It'll let you know every time we upload another video to YouTube. If you're watching it on Facebook, give us a like and share the page and let people know that we are talking old school professional wrestling, and occasionally we'll throw a little bit of what's going on today in professional wrestling, but it's very rare that we talk about what's going on in today's professional wrestling.
Yeah, we tried, but we couldn't live with ourselves.
Yeah, that was. And I hate to say I told you so, though. Remember Retribution? I said if they put the wrong person as the leader, it would be a disaster. Again, I'm right.
Well, let's see. Talking about right, let's go to the insiders and see what they've got to say about this episode of World Championship Wrestling. And so here we go with Richard Hood with us. Good evening, fellow Richard Hood. Good evening to you. Michael Barr. Hello from Southeast Alabama. Don't feel bad, Brent. I have been wrong many times. I'm gonna tell you, I want to think the times that I have been wrong. Kevin Finley, I made the deadline. He doesn't have to give Jack some what was he supposed to purchase last night? It was some cigars for you.
Yep, always some cigars. Can't go wrong.
No, Tim LaFontaine. I'm pretty sure that's not how you say it, but I just love to say LaFontaine. Gentlemen, how goes it? We're doing pretty good. I hope you're doing good. Michael Halton, cheers to all. Christopher Hughes, evening, guys. Looking forward to tonight's episode. Awesome episode. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Kevin Finley, I can't afford no more cigars. There's David Bice. Good evening, guys, from Soddy Daisy, Tennessee. Enjoy the show. Thank you, David. Mickey Mayfield said, could Magnum have a tighter shirt on? I'm not sure he could breathe. It was so small. I didn't notice that. Did y'all notice that?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it. The things that you noticed that I did not notice that. I may have front-rushed him up. I don't know. Michael Barr, Magnum's longest match was 15 seconds. Kevin said, how good of champion would TA been over a veteran wrestler? I believe TA would have been very good as a champion.
Yeah.
He needed to work on the interview, but as far as that working ability and the way he looked, he just had that look. He just truly had the look.
Yep.
Christopher Hughes said, poor Randy Barber. The guy always gets the end of the stick. He was looking at the crowd like, please, guys, don't tick them off.
That's great. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I think you're right. You just looking at it, you're true. You're true on that one. Christopher Hughes says, one of my favorites of all time, rest in peace, Buddy Landau. Yeah, Buddy was a character. There was no doubt he was a character. He's for sure will be missed, and that's what he said. The volume is going up and down. I don't know why that's going on. I don't know if is it my volume? Is it Rodney's volume? If it's all of our volumes going up and down, just let us know. Michael Barr said Dick Slater was a tough wrestler. I think
tough. He was tough in real life too.
Yeah, I don't know many people that could really beat up Dick Slater. He had the one punch that could knock you out. I think he did that to Sting while in UWF and stuck his head in the toilet, which he loved to do to people.
Yep.
And this was all over Dark Journey. It was all over that. Sting gave Dark Journey a ride. He found out about it. He just walked in, one punch, dragged him to the toilet, stuck his head in the toilet. That was all that he had to do with. You didn't want to mess with Dick Slater. He was one of the true professional wrestlers in the world that could whip you.
Yep.
No doubt. Richard Hood said, I like the angle when Ollie and Orange jumped Magnum TA in the dressing room. I think that's coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so.
Mickey Mayfield, how many Golden Terrors were they? Each time we see one, they look different. I don't know how many, but they are. I think every time there was a different one. I mean, I'm thinking, did Dusty have that stuff in his bag, and he just pulled out and said, "Look, baby, you gonna be the Golden Terror."
That's right. That's exactly right.
You know, I mean, man,
quite honestly, I do that. I've got like 5 different gimmicks that I'll keep in my bag and put on guys, change it up.
Pitter patter of the heart, Baby Doll. Yes, Baby Doll was looking good back in those days, and if you see her now, still looks very good. And I've seen her on the Facebook page. David Bice said, "Love Dirty Dick Slater." Who was Paul Gardner? Jack?
Footer. He was great guy. He just retired from the fire department in Birmingham here just about a year or so ago. Great guy.
All right, Mickey Mayfield said, I think Black Bart needed to go somewhere else. Ron Bass played the same character better. They were the similar character, but they were a tag team prior to coming there.
I think they should have left them a tag team. They were a really good tag team.
Richard Hood said, Michael Barr, he allegedly beat up Oakland Raider John, how do you say that word? Mutazak? Is that how you say that? Matuzak, okay, and yep. Sting, yes. I don't know about the Oakland Raider, but I do know he did that to Sting. Kevin said he would have Graham, Crockett, Verne handle all these dives and broken tables, done every match. Oh, they wouldn't have done that every match because, number one, they wouldn't want to pay for the tables.
No,
they're not. Pay for the tables, and then you got to walk past you wouldn't want to walk past Verne. because even at his age, he would have still tied you up and hurt you.
Yeah, they wouldn't have won because there's got to be some believability to it. You can't be through a table and then you get beat by a roll up. That makes no sense. It just makes no sense. And at least when people know what wrestling is, but don't insult their intelligence and just do a bunch of stuff and the guy gets beat by a roll up. I mean, that's just crazy. It makes no sense. I mean, they don't want to watch a movie that makes no sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't. The people who are writing television today, so wrestling television at least, so they wouldn't like that. So why would they write that? No. I mean, am I wrong about this, guys?
No, I agree.
Did Rocky King speak? Can't ever remember hearing him. I don't think he ever did an interview.
I don't remember that he did.
He might have,
and there was a reason why he didn't do interviews. He was hard to understand. My favorite thing of saying to Rocky was, "What?"
Oh, Michael Barr said you just had to mention Kevin Sullivan, right?
Well, I needed something. I need to be able to have a comparison. I thought that was the best one.
Chris Stutter says Slater was the best there was. So glad I got to beat him. Yes, he was one of the best. Christopher Hughes, I love Bart, a great guy, but you're right. He does go on sometimes, not giving the guy anything. He, in my opinion, wasn't over like that. He was dominating a guy like that. That's, you can't get over when you're just beating someone. It's just hard to get over that way. Chuck Ferguson, good evening, gentlemen. Let's see. Christopher Hughes said Rocky King was so underrated. Like Bob Cook, he could work his butt off, but they always squashed him. I never understood it. Me either.
No.
Made no sense to me why they did that. I mean, he should have been pushed. If it was me, Rocky King would have got a push. There's no doubt in my mind he would have got a push. Fellows, Rocky King was running a promotion in Atlanta, WW4. He helped me out one day when I had car trouble. He is a good guy. Yes, Rocky King is a great guy. Never met a time that he was not nice.
He works in the community there in the Atlanta area too, raising food for the homeless, and he does all kinds of charity work. Rocky is just a great human being.
Michael Mayfield, Sam Houston looked like a kid in the match. Well, I think he was.
Yeah, he was a kid.
Yeah.
He said Richard has said it's WWA4.
Yeah.
Christopher Hughes says Sam Houston is a great guy and a great worker. I'm proud to call him a friend. And he married Baby Doll. Yes, we were in Kansas City when they were married. We went over to their house. Baby Doll made us some lasagna. It was some of the best lasagna I think I ever ate.
It was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. Always liked Sam in matches. Yes, me too. I always thought he was so good.
Yeah. If he had had another 50 pounds on him, I think they would have pushed him really good.
Yeah. Mickey Mayfield thought Paul Jones was about to have a stroke yelling at the fans.
Yeah.
Glenn Allen, good evening. And I think we already said hello to him. James Morgan said, Bad Street, Atlanta, Georgia. There you go. Teresa Lynn, can we just bring back old school wrestling? Kids don't even know how good it used to be.
Yep.
There's
well, I
no
agree.
truth
I mean, but if you talk to them, they think this is the great stuff. They enjoy the big production coming to the ring. I think it's just time killer, and I fast forward through most of that.
Joey Geens, I believe how you say that name. Hey guys, Kevin, what was his name? Did I miss something here? Am I? No, there we go. All right, I thought I was just blocked all at once there. So, Kevin, wait a minute. Here we go. Kevin, Abdullah could move when he was younger. Yes. Teresa Lynn said, "Love me some Dusty."
Yeah.
Joel Bateman, hi everyone. Richard Hood said, "Fellas, Abdullah's elbow was called the
Sudanese meat cleaver." Yeah.
Well, it seemed very, very like he could cleave that head right off when he did that move. Ivan and Nikita Koloff, Joel Bateman said, Michael Barr, Billy Jack Haynes, another powerful wrestler. Kevin Penley said Billy Jack was black blood at some time in WCW.
Yeah, short-lived gimmick, but
yes,
yeah, he was there.
Stuart Kemp said, "Oh, all indeed, people need to watch what we term as old school on what interviews are. Billy Jack was in Florida." Joel said Ivan Koloff was cool. Kevin Barkwell, did Dick Slater have a reputation as a tough guy in the mid-'70s in Georgia? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. During his run as Georgia heavyweight champion, what a talent he was. Yes, even
great
then,
champion as well.
Yes, some of the
this
great.
Was about the time when the Georgia heavyweight champion at that time was, in our opinion, even bigger than the world title, and that's just that's how important it was for Georgia.
Christopher Hughes said, yes, Billy Jack was in Florida and just had gotten done with his program with Billy Graham, and him and Wahoo were Florida tag team champions. Chuck Fergus said, you guys think old school wrestling will ever return?
I do. It has to. At some point, these guys are going to get hurt so bad that the liability of keeping up, doing these high-risk moves and everything is going to be counterproductive.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to go back. And this was the one thing your dad told me early on was, I don't care how you dress it up, at some point, wrestling has to come back to its center. And the center is right there in the ring, and that's storytelling.
Yep. I agree with you. Michael Barr said, Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson.
It would be because David Crockett is the host of the program. It is Arn.
Joe Bateman said he thought old school was gone. Unfortunately, I don't believe it is. I believe it's only as you portray your wrestling company as being. I think there's a place for it, and I don't know that you could go way back to the 50s. I don't know you can go that far back, headlock for 20 minutes, but old school, the actual storytelling of old school wrestling is not there anymore. The psychology is not there anymore. I think if you gave the young fans that today, I believe they would love it. They would absolutely love it. All right, we're running out of time, so we're going to have to, let's throw some people up here real quick. If Harley Race hit you with his left and you were still standing, he would look behind you to see what was holding you up.
True.
David Lawson said Rocky talked while he was the Freebirds. I believe he did talk while he was the Freebirds. Right. What was he then? I can't even remember what he was at that point. He was not Rocky King, though. I don't
remember.
Little Marley or something like that?
Yeah, a little something. Yeah, it was that.
I didn't think he was. They said that he did say Rocky King got a small push with Jimmy Valiant as the Street People against the Midnight Express. It was over in like 2 seconds, though. So, Jonathan Owen, how are you doing? He said, "Love this." Well, thank you so much. It looks like you're in an arena there in your picture, some kind of arena there.
Theater.
Richard Hood, what's up with you and Kevin Sullivan? we'll get into that some other time. Did Chief Inspector Clouseau, did Abdullah really eat raw chicken?
No, but if you went to his restaurant, he knew how to cook it the right way.
Jonathan wants us to talk about Ollie Anderson, and we will talk about Ollie Anderson. I'll tell you what, next week we'll talk about Ollie Anderson. Ollie was a very unique person. And he didn't like many people, but that was Ollie Anderson. And I don't believe it was because Ollie was not a good person. He was a businessman first, and he did not want to start liking you because when he got ready to get rid of you, he wanted you gone. If you didn't make him money, he wanted you gone. So he did not want to be your friend. And a good wrestling promoter, if you're a good wrestling promoter, don't have friends in the wrestling business because you have to get rid of them at some point.
Exactly.
When they stop drawing you money, you have to get rid of them. All right, guys, I think we're running out of time. Anything we need to talk about, Rodney, before we leave?
No, I think we've got it all covered. Looking forward to the next extravaganza, next show.
Next show, which will be a Monday, and I believe we are going to do a show on the Fabulous Freebirds once again because I am so ready to talk about their time in Georgia Championship Wrestling. I'm so ready for that. That was a great time for wrestling. All right, Jack, any closing comments?
Yeah, looking forward to that now.
Yeah, I enjoy the Georgia Championship Wrestling days of the fabulous Freebirds, and that's where we are right now, the Freebirds. If you've not watched it on YouTube, go there. There'll be a playlist, and you can. There's 4 videos, so this will be our 5th one. So make sure you get over there to YouTube and watch that. If you're watching on YouTube, just move over there when we quit quit doing this show. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We certainly appreciate it, and we will see you on our next program right here on Pro Wrestling Inside Now.